Welcome to Modern Manipulation. I want to start out by saying thank you for joining us. Today we are going to talk about moles within organizations and how they take advantage of common interests and therefore common or assumed trust within organizations. Sometimes moles get help from members of the group themselves. Other times they can act independently but secretly out of alignment within the group themselves. The Catholic Church is one example where, despite religious beliefs, child abuse and the physically moving of some offending priests, rather than truly punishing them, is an example of members that did not align with biblical beliefs, but as long as those secretly offending members pretended to believe, people assumed those moles were trustworthy until they found out otherwise or personally. Indeed, any organization, not just religious groups that claim to be approved by God, can and has fallen victim to moles that hide behind shared and assumed values of members to take advantage of them abusively, sexually, or financially. This does not mean all members of the group are bad, but rather that assumed trust and lack of maturity can be taken advantage of by moles in any group. And while the victims are never to blame, our personal and family guard should be mildly and quietly but strongly present within every group we join. Just because a person is a member of a group, religious or not, does not mean that they are a safe or healthy person. And people change over time. Sometimes the group can be as small as a family or as big as the military or law enforcement or an employer. A common uniform, badge, or purpose does not always ensure personal alignment or personal safety. A position of assumed trust or authority, like a parent or a coworker, cannot always but sometimes can lead to disappointment or abuse of ourselves or others when assumed or accidental trust is given. Another example of moles within an organization that take advantage of common interests or beliefs are gay closeted men with heterosexual partners or within the Republican Party. Regardless of homosexuality's minority or sometimes experimental nature and naturally induced yet debated biological origins, religiously and socially and historically it has often been shunned among many cultures. So homosexuality as a minority group or activity has often been convinced to either hide or publicly or privately deny their desires and live with or without reciprocal acceptance or social or personal acceptance. The reason Grindr, the gay meetup application that uses geolocation to enable messaging and connection between homosexual people, has an uptick in use and anonymous accounts at the Republican National Convention, is possibly because so many users were physically together and using the app while being near the event, despite the Republican public mantra of heterosexual families first and no socially legalized gay marriage. Or as a counselor once told me, sometimes the thing people hate the most is the thing they hate the most about themselves. Hate can be taught, but it can also be hid behind. That is why you can get closeted gay Republicans or closeted husbands that say what their Christian base or heterosexual partner likes, but in secret, they are kissing or having affairs with the lovers they want, rather than the lover they are with or the group that financially or socially supports them. They are, in effect, moles to their publicly joined financial or social support group, either purposefully or accidentally. By no means does hiding or denying one's sexuality necessarily make a person evil, as it is a personal choice to live one's sexuality publicly or privately or not at all. But being a purposeful mole or someone with values that do not align with the group he or she is a part of does require a level of denial or deception to oneself and deception to other members or people who can accept those beliefs or true to self lifestyles. Sometimes denial and being a mole is simply a survival mechanism to a vindictive and punishing social group or another person. Sometimes moles are used for protecting national interests, like infiltrating neo Nazi groups or drug or human trafficking groups to identify movements and intentions and planned eventual sabotage or confrontation or punishment or rescuing. So, not all moles are evil, they just do not align with the group's intended purpose, but their false alignment and deception allows for information gathering and eventual sabotage to the infected group's intentions and missions. I also believe that sometimes people become accidental moles within the organizations they join, whether soon after joining or years later. Those individuals then have to decide whether to be true to themselves publicly or privately and how they support or act within said organizations, when their values that no longer align with the organizations that they are publicly a part of or promised to. Moles within organizations are causes that silently work against or oppose or distract from the shared values or goals of the group they're in. That's modern manipulation.